entering the room silently with a firearm in his hand. Without a word or warning, Christopher fatally shot his wife in the head, instantly ending her life.
Morrison then took the trash bags containing his wife's remains and placed them in a shed on the property.
Welcome back to Crime Facts, the channel where we bring you the chilling details behind the darkest stories of human nature. Today's case is nothing short of harrowing. We delve into the tragic and gruesome murder of Tiffany Morrison, a young mother whose life was brutally cut short by her own husband. Christopher Morrison's desperate attempt to keep his wife from leaving him took a terrifying turn that left an entire community in shock and disbelief. Tiffany Morrison was a loving 34-year-old mother with dreams and aspirations like many others. She was known for her kind heart, radiant smile, and the love she had for her children. But underneath the surface of what seemed like a happy marriage lay a dark and troubled relationship. Christopher Morrison, 35, was a man battling with the fear of losing control. His life was falling apart as Tiffany contemplated ending their marriage. It was this fear of separation and loss that led Christopher to plot the unthinkable. On December 18th, 2023, that fear reached its peak, resulting in a gruesome crime that would devastate not only their family, but also their entire community.
It was a cold December day in Ohio when the unthinkable happened. Tiffany Morrison was home, just as she had been many times before. But on this day, she was unaware of the deadly intentions of the man she once trusted the most. According to prosecutors, Christopher Morrison waited until Tiffany was at her most vulnerable, in the shower. As the steam filled the bathroom, he made his move, entering the room silently with a firearm in his hand. Without a word or warning, Christopher fatally shot his wife in the head, instantly ending her life. After taking her life, Christopher didn't panic. Instead, he methodically began to cover his tracks, thinking that he could conceal the crime he had just committed. What happened next would shock even the most seasoned detectives.
Hours after the murder, Christopher went on a shopping spree. Not to buy gifts or necessities for his family, but to gather tools for a ghastly deed. He purchased a saw, blades, rubbing alcohol, and trash bags. With cold precision, he used the saw to dismember Tiffany's body, reducing what was once a vibrant life to severed remains that he wrapped in garbage bags. Morrison then took the trash bags containing his wife's remains and placed them in a shed on the property, believing this would be the final resting place where no one would find her. The very thought of someone being capable of dismembering a loved one is incomprehensible. It speaks volumes about the depth of Christopher's depravity. The investigation into Tiffany's disappearance began when family members noticed she was missing. Days turned into weeks, and the community started to fear the worst. Then, authorities made a horrifying discovery inside a shed on the couple's property. Inside several garbage bags were the dismembered remains of Tiffany Morrison. The gruesome nature of the crime scene left even the most experienced officers struggling to comprehend the extent of Christopher's actions. It was a scene that spoke of pure evil, a person devoid of remorse or humanity. Christopher was immediately taken into custody and charged with multiple offenses, including aggravated murder and gross abuse of a corpse.
In January, a jury indicted Christopher Morrison on charges of aggravated murder, tampering with evidence, possessing criminal tools, and firearm specifications. During the trial, the details of what had happened were laid bare before the court, painting a horrifying picture of a man who would stop at nothing to keep his wife from leaving him. Assistant Columbiana County prosecutor Ryan Weichart called the crime a heinous and unimaginable act that shows Christopher's genuine lack of remorse. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence, including the items Morrison had purchased, forensic analysis, and witness testimonies. It didn't take long for the jury to reach a unanimous verdict, guilty on all counts. Christopher Morrison was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole until 2050. It was a sentence that many felt was appropriate for a man who had taken away so much from his own family. For Tiffany's family, however, no sentence would ever bring back the joy and light that Tiffany had brought into their lives.
During the sentencing, Tiffany's mother stood before the court, tears streaming down her face, and described the indescribable pain of losing her daughter in such a brutal manner. The anger, hurt, and disbelief were unimaginable. Our lives were shattered. she said, her voice cracking with emotion. Christopher also spoke in court, but his words did little to ease the pain he had caused. He said, "Our children now have to go forward without either of us, and there is nothing I regret more. I'll be sorry for this until my last breath." But his words felt empty, especially in light of the actions he had taken. This case is a tragic reminder of the dangers of unchecked anger and control within a relationship. Legal experts argue that Christopher's fear of losing his wife and his obsession with maintaining control drove him to commit such a heinous crime. While life in prison is the maximum sentence available, questions still linger about the psychological aspects that led to such extreme violence. For Tiffany's family, there will always be a void that cannot be filled. Christopher Morrison's actions have forever changed their lives, and though he will spend the rest of his days behind bars, the loss and trauma inflicted will remain with Tiffany's loved ones forever.
If you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, there is help available. Please reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or a domestic violence hotline. No one should ever feel trapped or fearful in their own home. Thank you for watching today's episode of Crime Facts. It's stories like these that remind us of the importance of being vigilant and aware of what's happening around us. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more true crime documentaries. And remember, stay safe and take care of those around you.